3DO.
Jenova the Ranger was a lieutenant of the Forest Guard, Arathia's eyes and ears. Skilled with the bow and the sword, Jenova was one of the Forest Guard's finest soldiers, serving Arathia and Avli for many years. This is her story. Even from the earliest years of her life, Jenova's kind-hearted nature had made her well-liked throughout much of Arathia. Charming and witty, Jenova soon gained an affinity for the bow and arrow, traits that led her to seek her fortune in the Forest Guard. Serving under Caleb, a valiant and renowned captain of the Forest Guard, Jenova battled Arathia's enemies for many years. It was in the Forest Guard where she met Jelu, a half-elf that first joined the ranks when he was merely a child. While Jelu was still a cadet, he invented a new type of longbow, a bow capable of shooting a target from a great distance. His fellow cadets were impressed by the half-elf's ingenuity, but his lieutenant, Jenova, was not easily convinced. Challenging Jelu to an archery contest, Jenova easily won the parts of the contest when precision was required, but Jelu's bow prevailed on distance shots. The contest ended in a stalemate, but Jenova and Jelu became fast friends. A few days after the contest, Jenova decided to help Jelu improve on his bow. She embarked on a journey to find the best components and make a new bow that excelled in both distance and accuracy. Jenova first traveled to Hartford, a village in the northwestern region of Arathia. Jenova knew that the forest near Hartford was home of the fabled elven cherries, a type of tree that could produce the finest wood for bow making. The mayor of Hartford agreed to provide Jenova with the wood she needed if she would find an artifact called the Head of the Legion and procure it from him. Jenova's beguiling charms allowed her to convince the mayor to grant a small income of 50 gold per day for herself, in addition to the supplies of elven cherry wood. Jenova found the Head of the Legion in the borders of Deja, and after battling some necromancers that were guarding the artifact, she emerged victorious and managed to seal the deal with the mayor of Hartford. The Forest Guard's bows would now be made out of elven cherry wood, procured by the small village. Jenova's journeys didn't end there. She soon found herself on the village of Fairfeather, a sacred place where angels and archangels held sway. Upon arriving on the village, Jenova was approached by an emissary of heaven, who beseeched her to fight for their cause. It seems that a group of Cregan devils had imprisoned the supreme archangel of Fairfeather, a powerful being that was twice as strong as any of the archangels. Jenova agreed to fight the Cregans under two conditions. She would gain an income of 100 gold per day for herself, and the angels would share their feathers with the Forest Guard to be used in the arrows of its archers. The angels agreed, and Jenova emerged victorious once again. The Supreme Archangel was freed, and the arrows of the Forest Guard would have angel feathers on them. Jenova's journey ended in the contestant lands. The contestant lands were at the time in a perpetual unrest, as forces of Arathia and Avli would skirmish one another once and again. Jenova's goal was not to engage in this fight, though. She was seeking for a sacred grove, a place where a rare breed of unicorns could be found. It was said that their mane was made of golden hair that would never break or decay. Jenova thought that the unicorn's manes would make fine bowstrings for the new type of bow she had in mind. Having to navigate through the rivaling Arathian and Avlian forces, Jenova managed to find the sacred grove and the golden-haired unicorns. She found out that the unicorns' manes were made golden by an enchanted spring that watered their ponds. Jenova managed to bring peace in the land by offering the location of the sacred grove to both of the rivaling forces, who divided the golden springs equally between them. In exchange for her services, the Erathians granted Jenova a pension of 200 gold per day, and the elves agreed to produce bowstrings for the forest guard. Jenova returned in the forest guard and gave Jelu the elven cherrywood, the angel feathers, and the bowstrings made out of unicorn manes. Jelu was able to make a new bow of the sharpshooter, a bow that was deadly accurate even on great distances. The sharpshooters of the forest guard became an elite force and aided the Erathian king in many occasions. When Caleb died, Jelu became the new captain of the forest guard. Jenova decided to seek her fortune elsewhere and joined the forces of Avli, serving the Elven king. During the Restoration Wars, the king of Avli sent Jenova to battle the forces of Nion, and even invade their homeland, with the aid of the wizards of Brakada and the Erathian knights. Jenova proved to be a great asset in the wars, and her fame and glory grew even more when she returned triumphantly from the island of Nion, alongside Astral of the Wizards and Sir Christian the Knight. When the reckoning happened, Jenova managed to survive and find a new home on Axioth. Even though Jelu was regarded by many as a hero who succumbed to madness and brought about the end of the world, Jenova couldn't help but remember him as a friend and ally. After all, it was her kind-hearted nature that made her who she was, a nature that was based in forgiveness and mercy. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe on this channel and leave a comment below to let me know what other parts of Heroes 3 lore you would like to be explored next. Cheers!